All right, guys, welcome to our weekly webinar where we talk about the absolute best mortgage platform and best compensation plan in the industry. I'm Ramon Von Walker, President and CEO, and visionary, if you will, behind the next generation of mega brokers. So today what we'll do is go through a number of our value propositions, our strength, and why I say with confidence and humble that we're the absolute best platform within the mortgage industry. All right, so without further ado, we'll get started. Okay, so let's go to this next slide. Okay, so let's kind of walk through. First, I like to talk about money. So let's just walk through why I feel as though that I'll use the superlative best when comparing to all the other companies out there, retail and wholesale. Okay, so we are at a true $495 per file. So keep in mind, this means that you're going to generate a certain amount of revenue on the loan, and then we're going to subtract $495, and we're going to get that remaining net amount to you as the payroll. Okay, so $495 per fee. There's a lot of companies out there, and you have to be careful because mortgage can be a tricky space. It can be tricky for consumers. We all know all the stuff we've seen out there with that companies do, but it also can be tricky for loan originators that are sponsored by certain companies. And I think we're starting to bring more light to what some of these entities are doing to capture additional revenue. So at least I learned that a lot over the last couple of years as I've explored how these structures work within these different environments. Now, there's something called holdbacks. There's something called company margins. Sometimes you don't see on the rate sheet. My point here is we have none of that. A lot of companies try to express or share the fact that they have company margins. We have none. Okay, no 25 basis points, no 50 basis points, no fluctuations in margins. There's so many dials that these companies can turn and do it continuously to shave revenue off of coming to you and to the consumer to come back in-house. Okay, we do not do that. I encourage our loan officers to talk to our account executives, managers, ask the question, does Ramon put any margins or holdbacks in his rates? And they are going to tell you profusely, no, absolutely not. Now, when you are at other companies, you ask that question, they're going to be forced to stumble, right? Because they're not allowed to say, yes, he has margins and this is what it is because it's a secret, right? So I would suggest that you guys talk to your AEs and ask them, hey, you guys have do we have any margins built into our rates, our holdbacks? And when they start stumbling, you know that they realize it because they can see the back end, but they can't tell you. So that's worth 1,000 words right there. So that's a little tip in case any of you are wondering if your owner is actually baking margins and additional revenue in there. Okay. Box A fees. And then let me just back up on that margin thing. One more thing. This has to do with, somebody brought this up, so it's important. This has to do with correspondent. Like we're non-delegated correspondent, okay? So when you have that margin in there, it's going to worsen those rates a little bit and it'll fluctuate. And again, it's a lot of parameters, a lot of dials. We can always change it, okay, as owners. Now, somebody might say, well, I'll go to the broker side and they don't have that. But keep this in mind. When they have a correspondent holdback or adjustment, it also has to be reflected on the broker side. So your broker rates get worse because they have the correspondent margins built in. You can't have the two different rates. They have to look parallel. And a lot of systems, the PPE engines, don't have that level, that granularity to change both sides. And why would you want to change both sides if you let people broker, right? So the broker pricing gets worse. So even if it appears that, okay, I just won't use correspondent at my company, I'll just use broker, you have worse than broker pricing caused by the holdback on the correspondent side. I know it's a little bit complicated. Simple fact or simple thing to do: talk to your AEs, talk to AEs managers, ask them at your company if there's holdbacks or margins built in before the rate sheet comes out. All right, get on them. Okay, so moving along, there's no tricks here. There's not an additional fee built in. Okay. You are going to get a pass through for whatever my correspondent lenders underwriting or admin fees are. Let's take an example. Rocket, for example. Okay. Rocket is at $9.99 admin fee. Okay. We owe this to them. It's like an underwriting fee. We owe this to them when we close. You are perfectly fine to put $9.99 on that LE for that client, and that will cover that fee. There is no $1,500, $1,400, all these other numbers, okay? Because that's another way that companies get additional revenue. All right. So there's all these tricks that I'm teaching you guys at Client Direct Mortgage. We don't have that now. You are perfectly fine as the loan officer to charge $1,500 on an underwriting fee. And then you would take the additional $501. So follow me here. I'm gonna say that again. Rocket is $999 for correspondent underwriting fee. Okay. So when we close, they take $999 out. If you set up the correspondent LE with $1,500, let's say, as the underwriting fee, then you've made an additional $501. Okay. You control the fees on the loan estimate. All right. So that's one thing I want to make extremely clear. The company, Ramon, no markup, whatever. Every other lender out there, all kinds of fees. I've seen like something called a gold dome fee. I've seen a admin, crazy. Now there may be a processing fee, right? We have to pay for processing. Because a client might get hit with that if you're using contract processors. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Stop, Ramon. So let's just focus on that part of the fees. No markup from us. If there is a markup from you, that's your revenue. Okay, good. Bank or broker, your choice. I don't care. I'm just getting $4.95 a file. Do what's best for you. Okay. And payday is every Friday. Okay. So we do pay pretty quickly. Once the funds are received, then that starts the period of where we are going to pay for that following week. And you can order expedited payroll as well. Okay. So let's talk about the other things. So we're outside of the pay. The pay is extremely simple, extremely transparent. I think a lot of people would agree. That was the whole point. Bring the most competitive pricing, okay? Make it transparent and give the loan officer an avenue to really increase their revenue, okay? So those were the main pillars. Now, let's move on to other attributes about Client Direct Mortgage. We're currently approved in 34 states and have applications in for another 3 or 4. All right. I absolutely love this. And we're one of the only, I call us a hybrid because we're a broker, but because of the 22 non-delegated relationships, which is the most out of any other broker out there, eMortgage Capital, C2 Financial, Edge doesn't even have correspondent. So sorry for the VA folks there. Nexa has like 3. Expert has like probably 1 UWM, and there's a couple other, Barrett. So we have 22. So we dwarf the other companies out there in our non-delegated correspondent relationships. I'm really good at that stuff. I built up the technology for us to be able to expand out to a number of companies. Okay, so that's out there. But the live phone support is absolutely amazing. No other broker has that either. So what that really means is no matter what question you have, you can call our internal 1-800 number and they will help you get an answer. I don't care if it's a payroll question. I don't care if your credit report link isn't working. I don't care if you have login issues. I don't care if we're processing the file on your behalf, our corporate processing, and the processor didn't call you back, but you needed to know if the appraisal is ordered. Call that number. They can go into the Salesforce and take a look at that. We are built to be the highest level of service that the broker community has ever seen as it relates to Main Street. We're on Main Street. We're not talking about what UWM and Rocket could do for us. We're talking about issues that we face every day in aggregating a client and client acquisition, right? You got to be able to log into this or that. You got to be able to order that appraisal or this or that. They can't help you with the new AMC that this particular DPA program uses. We can't use the regular class or whatnot. Who's going to help you navigate that? We are. Call the live support number. We got people standing there waiting to help you. That's 9 hours a day. All right. We have company processing. $9.99 is simple. Like if you want to come through and want us to process for you, no problem. $9.99. Okay. Contract processing. Now this is like I built this up to be one of the strongest contract processing labor forces out of any brokerage. In a second, I'm going to take you into our BrokerAIQ platform. That's where all the contract processors reside. We're going to have upwards of 350 contract processors, and all of the money is going to go in their pocket. I say that in an extremely proud fashion, because what I've learned about the industry is there's a number of companies out there that are charging maybe like $12.50, but $500 is going to the company's pocket, and the rest is going to the processor. No, in our dynamic, the corporation, the company will take $0. That relationship is between you and that contract processor, and I want them to be motivated to give the absolute highest level of service to client direct mortgage loan officers. How do you do that? Give them all the money. Give them the money, okay? So there'll be over 300 of them in our system. We're going to look at that a little bit later. We have the proprietary support platform called BrokerAIQ, complete game changer. You guys have seen me talk about the AIQ platform as it relates to the AI product genie, 120 lenders in there, all these different guidelines, put in your scenarios, instantly see it. It's great. We'll look at that a little bit later too. But the support, the daily trainings that are there, the onboarding, how smooth our onboarding process is, it's amazing. Contract processors, AEs, loan officers, and realtors all in the same ecosystem. Beautiful. Okay, we talked about the 22 correspondent lenders because I got ahead of myself. We're 1099 in all states except GA, Illinois. Oh, you guys see the whole list there, right? So take a look at that list. I don't have to read through it. So that's what we follow. And listen, if you're at some of these places, you guys see my versus last weekend when I was talking to Tony. He's a loan officer at Edge, and we saw that he'd have over $200,000 more in revenue that would have come to his pocket. Okay. Over the course of the year with the level of production he had if he was a 1099 versus a W-2. And the states that he's in don't require W-2. They're 1099 states. So it's like, it's really weird that, it's like, don't give up that revenue. You can have that money, have reinvested it in your business. And then after that, you're looking and then paying taxes on what comes of it. Now, if you reinvested in that business, that 200,000 could have turned into another 450,000 worth of revenue or commissions because of how much you're putting back into your business. When you put $1 into your business, it goes out and brings back $1, hopefully $2, right? So that right there is a complete game changer. So I'm educating a lot around this and how to use that strategy. It's what made me a top originator. A lot of you guys know my history, right? So it's like, if I didn't have that ability to reinvest that money back in my business, I would not have been top 10 in the Scotsman Guide, #1 in 2018, 19, 17 at UWM, right? I was an originating machine. Why? Because I had the dollars to be able to put back into the business and hire people, hire LOAs, hire support. So don't be, it's like you're originating with one arm behind your back. Okay, enough of that. I want you guys to go out to our website, joincdm.com, joincdm.com. This is where probably a lot of you went to get the webinar link. Use the calculator. It's fun. So get in there, use the calculator, and compare what your income would be here as opposed to where you're at now. So a lot of the compensation plans are programmed in there. So if you're at Edge, if you're at Nexa, if you're at C2 Financial, if you're at Bear, if you're at a number of these other lenders, you can just choose them, and their compensation plan is already programmed in our calculator, and it will compare how much you would make with us compared to how much you're currently making with them. So absolutely amazing. For my bankers out there, Whether you're a bank, whether you work at an FDIC, you have a salary, a bonus, we programmed that in as well. You can put those numbers in and kind of see how much you would make at client direct compared to how much you're making now, even considering the salary, the bonus, and then the lower BIPS amount, and you'll be shocked. Okay, I have it in there for IMBs as well. So take a look. Very complex but easy to use calculator that will show you the truth about the money that you're making currently, and more importantly, the money that you could make if you came over to client direct. All right. So now let's take a look at the BrokerAIQ platform. Now you guys got to bear with me a little bit right here because the system kind of did me a little dirty. It hold on really quick. I'm going to log into the BrokerAIQ platform really quick. Kind of show you. So that website is just BrokerAIQ.com. So when I say bank, what does that mean? So when I say bank, I'm talking about people that are employed at a FDIC. So that's like Chase or a regional bank. Usually you have a federal license. Okay. So if you're employed at a FDIC, that's what I mean by bank. Or there's something called IMBs, right? So that's like movement mortgage, guaranteed rate. So all of these places sort of have different, they have different, hold on real quick, let's jump in here, different pay structures. I'm just logging into the ChatGPT. I'm not ChatGPT, I'm sorry, the BrokerAIQ. We use OTP on this thing, so it's pretty cool. You never have any like passwords, right? It's always just going to be a code that's sent to you every single time. Okay. So now I'm going to log in on that side. Remove that. Okay. So I just want to show you guys what it looks like too. So yes, this is it right here. So you'll come in here, we'll kind of like do this, you'll get a code, and then you'll be able to get inside of the BrokerAIQ platform. Now this thing is absolutely amazing. Okay. We've done a phenomenal job on this. That's why I just wanted to take the time to log in so I could really show you guys. This is all custom software. It's not built on any platform that you're familiar with. So no one can go out and duplicate or buy this system, if you will. We'd have to give it to them ourselves. Okay. So this is it's a powerful, the way I see it, it's like an amazing growth platform. I just want to make sure you guys are seeing it. Yeah, you are. Okay. Just want to double check. You guys can go to the website and it talks about everything that it has. So the different personas, we have loan officers, account executives, contract processors, and real estate agents. You're going to love what I have planned on the real estate agents, because I'm not only thinking about support for you, not just the best support, not just the best comp structure and the best support, but I'm thinking about growth as well. So we're going to touch on that later. Okay. So kind of go through this, and then you'll know what encompasses the whole system. AI Genie is absolutely amazing, but let's jump into the actual system. So I really think there's so much here, but I really think there's three main components I want to talk about that's going to help your business and help your time, really. Because at the end of the day, one thing I realized becoming a top originator, it was all about time. It's kind of cliche-ish, time is money. But in mortgage, you do start to realize what that truly means. The majority of individuals in society are not going to be able to relate to you, to be perfectly honest, because they work a structured amount of time, 9 to 5. So time is really not money. They're obligated to come 9 to 5 anyway. Some people work a little bit more because they're on a salary job. Some people work a little bit less. But in the grand scheme of things, there's this structure in place in America with our workforce where time is not necessarily equivalent to money in the same fashion that it is in mortgage. So not until I got into mortgage did I truly understand time is money. Because you can spend, we all know, we've all spent a lot of time with individuals, and we realize this is not even a deal. Oh my God, I couldn't do, oh my God, I didn't check. I can't even do this loan. And I talked to that person they kept me on the phone for 1 hour, then 45 minutes, then you start calculating the time. How much time did I waste? It's because you don't have access to information. Okay. That's the problem. You don't have the access to the proper information and you weren't trained properly, right? And it's nobody's fault because there's no real true mortgage school. There's so many scenarios out there, so dynamic, right? And even the most seasoned individual, even myself as an individual that has produced probably over $1 billion in loans, right? Still will trip up because guidelines change. So what we have here is, let me just start from the top. All of these components are going to help you with your time and your education, okay? I told you the support line. There it is. It's right here in the upper left-hand corner. Call that number. They do verify. So we send you a text message based off the number that you registered with us. So your personal cell phone number. So as soon as you call in, we'll send you a text message with your ticket number. And then you have to tell us what that random number is, and then we'll help you. This is how we're going to avoid other people that are not client direct mortgage loan officers from calling us and trying to like get a scenario answered because they want to access our AI genie because we're the only ones with it. So yeah, so we avoid that by doing a verification that you are truly one of our loan officers, okay? Because there's a lot of support people. We have 13 of them sitting back there. Okay, so call. I don't care. Again, payroll, credit link, scenario question, a question about a file if we're processing it, a new lender you might want. I don't care, anything. Please bring it to us. Okay? We want to get it in there. We want to get a ticket. We have a 15-minute SLA, service level agreement. So we'll either get back to you with an answer or we'll give you a plan as to our timeline as to where we think we're going to get the answer for you within 15 minutes. You're going to get a phone call back. We're going to take the problem in. If we can't answer at that moment, we're going to figure it out. We're going to call you back in 15 minutes and let you know what the plan is, or either give you the answer or let you know what the plan is. Hey, by the end of the day, I'll have that answer for you. They have to go out and talk to Ramon about this. Somebody has already pinged them, but just give us to the end of the day and you will get a phone call back from me. That's the other thing we have. This isn't just a regular support center. This is constructed by me. And that's important because my background was in IT before, and I dealt with ticketing. I used to answer the phone when people had IT problems, right, for the company. And then I would go through and do all this. That's why I learned how to do some of this stuff, right? So one thing that we're also going to do is we're going to close the loop. So the same person that dealt with you in the beginning, it might be a different person depending on if the shifts change or something like that. But that loop has to be closed on that ticket immediately, right? As fast as possible. So even if the problem is resolved and the ticket associate or our support associate knows it was resolved, right? Because they heard it from someone else, because the processor told them, oh, I took care of that person. They can't just, oh, cool, wash my hands of it. No, they have to get back in touch with you. You're the only person, the communication back with you is the only way that circle can be closed, okay? So this isn't just regular support. This is above and beyond support, okay? And they're there for you every day, every single day, except Saturday and Sunday. But we'll work on that as we get a little bigger. All right. So moving along, the other part that's absolutely amazing and central to your guys' success is the training calendar. So when we onboard an individual, we have an amazing onboarding process too. Very smooth. You go on the BrokerAIQ, you register. Okay. Once you register, it notifies us. We activate your application. It's really, your loan originator agreement. And it's really like a W-2 and a 1099. Once we choose which one it is, then we set up your account as ready. And then the system's going to notify you and say, hey, your contract is ready. And within the same portal, you're going to come and review the contract. You're going to sign it digitally within the portal. Okay. Then you're going to go to the next screen, which is paying your platform fee. We'll talk about that. And then after that's done, it's going to take you to a checklist. And you're going to see all the items we're working on. We're getting your Salesforce together. We're doing this. We're doing that. We're doing all these things. And it's going to be a little green dot next to each one of those things once they're complete. So you're going to know, hey, I got to get through all this stuff, or the team is working on my file, and I see these things starting to progress. And overall, it takes about 7 to 10 days, sponsorship, all that kind of stuff. Sponsorship can take a little bit longer, but you're going to see, okay, I'm at the end now. And once you're at the end, you get access to the system. But you do have to watch a video of me saying hi first. So you have to watch a video of me saying hi, answer a couple questions, then you get access to the whole system. You'll come into the system, and this is a good segue because you'll come first to the calendar and sign up for one of the onboardings. And you don't even have to sign up. Just come to it, Because our system, Zoom, is integrated in our calendar. So all of these events that you're seeing here on your screen are live. They have a live Zoom link connected to them already. So there's no reason to run and look for Zoom links in your email. No reason to call me and text and say, "Hey, Bob, where's it at? How do I get into the meeting?" Kind is having a meeting on training I wanted to attend, but I can't find it. Oh, it's 15 minutes into it, and I still don't have the link. Forget all of that. Everything is done here. The AEs now are doing their meetings on our platform. Everything is done on our platform. Okay. So onboarding will happen every week. You don't have to ask us when onboarding is. Just come to it. If you come to it and you kind of like, oh, I loved it, but I don't feel like there's so much information I didn't grasp it. Come the following week, every Monday, right? We'll have this. Okay. Now, I told you about all the different roles: account executives, contract processors, all these different people. Check this out. They're all allowed to do classes in our calendar. We are going to be one of the richest environments for trainings out of any broker in the space. When you look at the number of how organized it is, you know what's coming, right? You know where to go to get into it. Now you as the loan officer get to choose what you want to participate in, what you want to learn. And then we're going to start doing some real fun things. Like I was talking to a couple of the lenders, and some of them are so proud about their DSCR loans. Okay, we could do this and we could do that. I was like, all right, we'll have a 3-day mania. So we're going to have a DSCR mania, right? I don't know if it's going to be at the end of next month or the beginning of the one after, but it's going to be 3 days where we have 6 lenders that are kind of showing all of their DSCR stuff. So if you're interested in being a DSCR specialist, then you're going to come and attend all those 3-day classes, and then we're going to do a prize and stuff afterwards for anybody that attends all of the DSCR meetings. So we're going to have some fun with these trainings too. It's just not going to be a mundane training every day. It's going to be themed. It's going to be fun. There's going to be prizes. This is going to be actually somewhere that's like engaging, where not only new people will come to do it, but experienced people like myself. You want to sharpen up on something, you'll come in here. You see that there's a category for a fireside chat with me every month. So I'll be sitting talking about the different pilots that we're doing with Rocket or any other lender out there. I'll be talking about leads. I'll be talking about a lot of business growth stuff. So that's going to be really fun. But check this out. When I started this group, UWM First Rocket, there's a lot of people in there, a lot of buzz. Everybody in the industry sort of ran into it to kind of see what was going on. But I also found that a lot of people were reaching out to me, DMing me, one group being the contract processors. Ramon, can you post me? Ramon, I need to get some business. Ramon, can you help me out with this or help me out with that? Because they see that you have a strong group and they want you to be able to advertise their services. So part of what we're doing and what I explained to them is like, well, you can throw this stuff out there, but what differentiates you from everybody else? Nothing, right? So it's kind of hard to kind of just, there's no point in just throwing a bunch of posts out there with you guys. So I kind of back up away from that. Instead, I included them in my platform. Now, of course, that group has nothing to do with our platform, but I saw the need. And for individuals and contract processors that want to come onto our platform and help our loan officers, we're also going to give them the opportunity to teach classes on the weekends. Why am I doing that? Because contract processors often have an opinion of loan officers. Oh, they don't structure this right, or I wish they would do this, or I wish they would do that. They all have a list of things I noticed that they wish they would do. Well, that's called now subject matter knowledge. Contract processor, I'm going to give you a platform to come on the weekends, share that subject matter knowledge, so that way you'll have loan officers engage, and guess what? A relationship will be made. So now when that loan officer goes out and does a deal, who are they going to use? They're going to use you because of the fact you're the one that taught them how to do this. They're comfortable with you. Okay. So you can see how rich the calendar and the trainings are, and how I've incorporated everybody's labor skills into one place to make an ecosystem that is productive for all of us. Right. This takes experience. This is why I say, and I say it with like, I'm humble. I have to put in a lot of work to be able to say this. Right. At some point, I wouldn't have said this last year or the year before, but I truly believe, because I've analyzed it. Okay. And I'm an analytical person. We have the best platform. I am the best leader out of these brokers. And it's because of the experience, because I've done all the loans that I do. It's because of the technology experience that I have. It's because of my access to engineers. It's because I'm a visionary as it relates to this mortgage stuff. It's because mortgage is my job, my hobby, and what I do in my free time, right? All of those things make it to where this is the most fertile ground that you will find in the mortgage space to grow your business. Okay. Said blood, love, sweat, and tears put into this thing, right? And it's going to help you grow. I promise you. So that's that part with contract processors. Now, we also have what's cool in here is the realtors. And I'm going over time. That's all right. People that want to stay, stay. And we're gonna drive through this thing. So realtors are the other ones. Realtors are going to be a big part of this system. There's 42,000 realtors in the country that have done 12 buy-side deals or more over our 34 states, okay? We are sending out this platform so that way they could be a part of it as well, which is absolutely freaking amazing. So they will be a part of this platform as well and be able to use the AI Genie. So that's a wonderful segue for me to get back into this part and talk about the AI Genie, okay? So the AI Genie will allow you to come in here and look at any scenario, any freaking scenario that's out there that you have a question. Right now, you guys crowdsource scenarios. The number one post in my group of 8,000 loan officers is, anybody know a lender that will do this? Anybody know a lender that will do that? This banks. Listen, we don't have to do that anymore. That's called crowdsourcing. And you're crowdsourcing people's minds who, human beings, we don't recollect that well anyway. So you get a bunch of answers that are likely insufficient anyway. So it's bad, okay? That's not the way we should go about getting information around client scenarios that we need. And then we call the AEs, and let's be honest, AEs, I love you guys, but you guys aren't available all the time. I'm talking to voicemails, and I get it because you're getting a lot of phone calls. You're one lender, you got 50 phone calls in a day. How are you supposed to just answer scenario questions? It's a broken system. The scenario into Facebook groups is broken. The calling and texting AEs is broken. The blast email is broken. So what we did was we stepped out in front of this and said, hey, we need to create something that gives us access to the information without unrestricted from going through anybody else. So with our AI Genie, we took all of the guidelines and we built our own database, okay? And we use Google Gemini, and it's read all the guidelines. It's just gone through and read them. So now when you put in a scenario like a non-QM HELOC, what you're getting here is all of the lenders that will actually do that program, okay? And then after that, it gives you the links to those lenders, okay? So then you're coming in here and saying, well, I need to know exactly where it is that they're talking about that. It'll take you to the exact page. See how this is page 21 of 23? It takes you to the exact page as to where that is. Oh, I don't think it showed. And that's my, you're not going to be able to see the extra pages popping up. But nonetheless, if you click these links, it will take you to the actual guidelines. And then you're able to read through and see if this is truly what I need, right? I need an FHA manual 580 score that allows gift funds, right? So then you can go in here and kind of find those things. And that's the beautiful thing about our system. See, that's the one. Need FHA manual underwrite 580 score. So it has all the lenders that will do it. Then if you hit get links, it'll also show all of the lenders there, right? You can't see it, but this is on page 35 of 136. It's absolutely amazing, okay? So we have that piece as well, okay? So now let me go back to the last pillar. I think that was the last pillar that I think is cool. So let me just take you to the directories, contract processors. So we have a lot of them. We just talked to Hancock, got all of those guys in here right now. There's 87 that are in here, okay? So these guys just got in this weekend. So they're filling out their profiles. So they're going to come in, you're going to be able to go to any of them. They're going to have their whole profile right there, their experience. They can't just get to you either. You have to accept them in your side of the system. So you're not going to have a bunch of people pinging you. There's a lot of connectivity in our platform that allows you to control the relationships. So you'll go through here, you'll search by state, and you'll find the processors that you want. We will have over 350 processors in here, and they will also have ranking, okay, from loan officers that they've worked with. Once payroll goes through and a deal is paid out and a contract processor worked on it, then it will put your name underneath them as someone that they worked with before. So if someone else, another loan officer at Client Direct is curious, they can go look at the processor, see names of Client Direct loan officers that have worked with this person before and call them directly. Hey, how was it working with Susan or Tracy? Oh, it was great. She's wonderful. I love her. Okay, thanks. I was thinking about working with her. That's all I needed. That's it. So we have that connectivity, that ecosystem, if you will. Okay. So let's go back over here really quick. Let's speed up. So account executives, these are all the account executives. They just got in this weekend as well. So they're going to come in here. They're uploading all their docs. So this is where all the lenders are, if you will. Okay. So it's like, if you want to search for a lender, boom, there it is. Just put the lender's name in. But we lead out with the account executive's name. You're in control. If you don't want to talk to a bunch of account executives, you don't have to. They're not going to bombard you. You'll go, you'll approve who you want to be part of your favorites. And then those are the ones that can see you and access you, and you guys can communicate or whatnot. There's also, so this is really cool. The real estate agents will be in there. We'll talk about that later because that's coming down the pipe. The last thing I want to touch on is sort of the Facebook group. So we have our own Facebook groups in here. So you'll be able to post. So we're real estate agents, so we're contract processors, so we're account executives. So you get all kinds of stuff in here where we have a community and we're commenting off of it and all that good stuff. There's also the Slack component. So you can do a one-on-one Slack and have a conversation with individuals, or I'm going to put in chat rooms. So each lender will have their own room and you can go in there and talk about all the different things that they have and all that fun stuff. This is an amazing ecosystem. It's we're very proud of it. Okay. So as I wrap this up, I also want to show you, and we're kind of like detailing this in a little bit, but we're going to have all these different vendors in here. Everybody asks me, who should I use for that? Or who should I use for this? Just come into the vendor store. There's no real deals or anything like that we've arranged. We're just showing you and categorizing all of the different vendors out there that you can work with for different things. Okay. Some people want coaches. We're starting to add in all the different coaches, right? So we'll start to put these individuals in. Again, we don't have any relationships with these guys outside of going out there and aggregating the information and putting them in there. So I've had many people say, Ramon, I want to do consumer direct, but I want a coach. Well, I know Dale had a contract. Vermillion, he had a contract with Lending Tree and did the Lending Tree University for a long time. So you can come in here and then kind of find him if you want. So we're going to aggregate the information to help you grow. Lastly, this is one thing I really like too. Passwords are a big deal. So we have a password manager in the system. So there's 100 lenders that we work with. Okay. So over 100 lenders. We're going to allow you to put all of them in here so you can always have access. Okay. So that's amazing as well. You guys, I'm going to go kind of fast. I'm way over time. A lender price is in here, the PPE engine. So if you need to come in here and use a pricer, it's right there too. So if you're looking at a product on one side, use the AI Genie. On the other side, you come in here and use lender price, right? So everything you need is at your fingertips. I don't care if you need to call somebody. I don't care if you need to price something out. I don't care if you need a guideline. I don't care if you need information to a lender for a AE's contact information. I don't care if you need a contract processor. I don't care if you need to figure out who to use for your reviews, like experience.com or something. It's in our system. Whew, everything is in there. We're very proud of it. Okay. So you guys know what a pricing engine looks like. It's in here. Okay. Like literally. And all of this for the low price of $4.95 per file. Let's jump back over and just wrap this thing up. Okay, guys. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to share the other screen again. Okay. Just bear with me a sec as we get back over here. Okay, there we go. All right, and we'll just get ready to wrap this up. As soon as I get the right screen up. Okay, so that's the BrokerAIQ. It's again a system that we're extremely proud of. You know, it's really amazing, and it's going to help you guys truly grow. So we talked about all of this stuff. We kind of went through it instead of doing it I did inside of the system instead of doing it on the slide here. So this is everything that we covered already. Okay. That's the address. Now you can have Arrive as well. You're not required to because we have Salesforce. Okay. So we have Salesforce, which is a light LOS and a light POS. So if you just do a couple loans a quarter, maybe you don't need a whole LOS system and you don't want to pay for it. That's okay, because you can use our Salesforce and you'll probably use us to do the processing a lot. That's totally fine. Okay. But with this product, with our platform fee, you get Office 365, you get BrokerAIQ, the platform you just saw, including that support. that live support and all the AI Genie and all that stuff. And then you get Salesforce as well. Now, Salesforce is required because everything runs through Salesforce, our payroll, other management, call report, all that stuff, right? So everything will end up in Salesforce eventually, even if you work independently in Arrive. Okay, so that's $149 a month, $149 a month. So we kind of subsidize that, a great deal for everything you get. So you can have Arrive, it's your Arrive, you control it, your account, you pay for it, but it's underneath our umbrella, okay? So totally, Arrive's a great system. So if you want the LOS and POS to be Arrive, by all means, go ahead and use it. And then once you close a loan, you can work independently and Arrive with your contract processor all the way through the process. And then at the end, we'll get a check, a broker check at the office. And we might not have even seen your file yet. And that's perfectly fine, because what we'll do is we'll go into the Arrive, we'll pull it all into the Salesforce, we'll do the payroll, all the kind of stuff that we need, and go from there. So I really am a person that allows you to work in whichever way you're working now. Understand our environment. If you see things that you like, by all means, engage them. But if you have a certain workflow and a process now, I'm going to bend over backwards to make sure that you can maintain that, because that's what you're accustomed to doing. And I understand the importance of a loan officer keeping their continuity of how they work. Okay. So, yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, guys. So 11 minutes over, not too bad. Now let me go back in here and kind of see if there's any questions. So it looked like there's a couple of questions in here. When you say bank, okay, I kind of answered that one. Hey, Ramon, currently with Loan Factory, what is the quality level of your company processing versus they charge $500 as opposed to $999 for client direct? Yeah, that's just our cost, $999. We have we're doing, that's correspondent, our broker. So we have a lot more lenders. I think the processing is a little bit deeper as we originate LEs, like the initial disclosures, the CD, the closing package, the post funding, all that stuff is included, for that $999. But it's the same. It doesn't matter what it is. It's the same either way. So I think that's where you see some of the difference. Would I be provided with a company laptop, or would I need to purchase your? No, you don't. No company laptop. You guys purchase all your own hardware. Everything is web based with us. So it'll be all logins, and you can use whatever hardware you want. How to learn more about compliance at 1099? I've always been told that it's illegal. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, we've looked at it extensively. I've talked to plenty of lawyers. There's plenty of all the there's over Nexa has 3,000 loan officers. We have Loan Factory, all these guys. We all have there's 60, 70,000 loans being done just between 6 or 7, 8 companies, all paying out 1099. Ever since I got into the business in 2012, there's been this 1099 versus W-2 conversation. People use things for different reasons. It looks like if you work in an IMB or you work in a bank, they're always going to say you can't be 1099. They don't want you to go. They're going to try to pull you in, right? But the proof is in the pudding. Like, there's billions of dollars being originated where loan officers are being paid 1099. There's a justification in many states. The state of Arizona came out and put a letter saying, we do not have a preference or a choice over 1099 versus W-2. And before, everybody thought they were W-2 states. They put out a specific letter. So you can go. Illinois, they just changed. So the regulators will tell you. Like, I've dealt with the regulators across 35 states. We've done the licensing. I built this up one by one, state by state. It's not an issue, and we're comfortable with it as a company. Yes, you can self-process. Absolutely. I don't mind it. Right. So go ahead. If you don't, if the time is not a constraint and you're more comfortable doing your own processing, having control of that process in the end, by all means, I'm totally comfortable with you self-processing. As a W-2, do we have a way to expense our we could talk about this like one-on-one. There's no structure in place to kind of help you pay for expenses as W-2. I mean, if there's enough production done, then I guess there's a way. So I guess you're talking about like company credit cards is one way, or trying to invoice things up front. So that would be more of like a P&L sort of model. Not for an individual. That would be like a minimum production sort of like team, I think. But something can be set up in that environment. if the production was there. Okay, so let's see. I think I did a pretty good job going through these questions. So I'll just kind of like hang out to kind of see if there's a couple more questions. I know sometimes things pop in my head like afterwards, like, oh, I kind of want to ask that one, right? So I'll just hang out for a second more and then we'll kind of like get out of here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. No problem, Turner. Let me just answer this one for you. If you covered this, okay, contract company process 999, assuming disclosed in box A, what is the cost of the contract processor? Oh, they're all different. So when you go into the broker AIQ, they're going to have in there what the price is, right? And they kind of have a menu. So there's a menu of these different prices that are out there, and that's why we went 350 of them. So I would say it's going to range anywhere from $500-600 to about 1,400-1,500, because I saw 1,500 from Hancock, but they do more. They work on those files, they work as an LOA for you too. So they have the LOA and the processing. So they're really doing everything end to end. So there's a wide range within that contract processor community. You'll be able to see all that encapsulated within our system. So do you use no, we don't know UWM. We're Rocket Shop. We're Rocket Shop. And in that upper left-hand corner, you saw another phone number. I didn't cover that. That was Rocket's SOS number. So any underwriting questions, any questions you have as it relates to specific underwriting and scenarios, you can call Rocket as well. So you can use our support line, and you can also use Rocket's live people because they have so much knowledge about lending and loans and all that kind of stuff. So we're a Rocket partner. We have the best pricing at Rocket. Our pricing is killing UWM's pricing. And we're on a lot of different pilots too. We're talking about doing something with Redfin, that recent purchase. So the broker community, they have their Bay Equity people who are now Rocket local, but there's a lot of leads. So we're in discussions about how to maybe disseminate some of that to the broker community. And we're one of the lead shops that are going to be in line to be able to do that. So that's exciting. Let's see. No, Eric, I do not require a minimum production. Nope. I think in our environment, you'll learn, you'll do more. We're going to encourage people to do deals. So if you're with us, you're active, you're paying your platform fee, then there is no minimum production. So answer to UWM, do you allow a LO assistant? Yeah, a LO assistant is fine. But that person would still need to possess a license. So they're almost like a contract processor, loan officer, LO assistant is like totally fine. But within our environment, we do not hire anybody that would be an employee of our company, if you will, right? Okay, so LO assistant is fine, but I think you have to have them licensed, or it might just be somebody, if somebody that's working your son or this or that, your daughter, I think that stuff is fine. Okay, we have flexibility on pricing and comp. If it is processed in-house or externally on each loan we bring in with this platform. We have flexibility on pricing. If it is processed in-house or externally on each loan. Okay, I don't completely understand what you're asking there, Javon. So I may be saying, do you have flexibility on pricing and comp? Yes. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're in control of that. You're in control of that. You're going to do what's absolute best for you. We're going to take the 495 out of whatever you end up producing. Okay, so you do have flexibility there to answer that question. And I think that's how I'm reading it. Like, do we have flexibility on pricing and comp? Okay, is everyone remote? Do you have a corporate space? Yeah, I'm in it now. This is like it's a big space. We got an entry point out there. This is the conference room. I wish I could take the camera and take you on tour, but the courts. But yeah, we have a corporate space, big corporate space. We're in it right now. This is sort of like the social media part of the conference room or whatnot. But we have a social media room and some other stuff. But yeah, although everybody's remote, right? So no one, because our systems are so online, the Salesforce, the Arrive, the BrokerAIQ, people are like, hey, I can work from wherever, right? So shoot, man, I was talking to one LO down in Colombia. right now working. So you're not many people come into the office, to be perfectly honest with you. So a lot of remote, a lot of online. Okay, so let me see. Let me just go back up. We have flexibility on pricing and comp. Yes. Is everyone remote? Yes. Okay. Last question. Can I bring LOs over with me? Last question. Can I? Travis. Heck yeah. I would love for you to. All right. Bring them over, please. Like I'll do a call with just your group if you want. Whatever you guys need. Yeah. If you have individuals that want to come over and you can help us grow, I appreciate it. We put a lot of energy, effort into bringing the best platform to the market, and I'd love for you guys to talk about it as you experience it and tell other people so they come as well. Okay, we are keeping this extremely thin on the revenue side for the company, so we can put as many dollars in your pocket as possible. And that's just the thread of who I am. I'll always be that person. I didn't get into too much history about me, but I was the top originator. You go look it up. It's all documented. I was a top originator for many years, and I started from zero in this business. I didn't even work for a retailer. I just started the company myself, and fail got up. But I learned to be one of the best originators and have one of the best brokerages in the country. I've always been a broker. So we did a ton of business. And a lot of what I learned I carry on to this platform. But the main thing that made me different, even back then in 2012 when I started, I gave the best price. My slogan used to be like, offering the best rates without sacrificing service. You're still gonna get service up here, but you're gonna get a price down here. And it's the same thing with you guys now. That's the thread of who I am. I'm gonna give you the best compensation plan. I'm gonna take the least amount of money out of all these other guys, and I'm gonna kick their ass in the support, the growth, and everything else that you deem important as you make your decision on who to go to. That's what made me a top originator. That's what I know. That's my fabric. That's who I am. And that's the spirit of Client Direct Mortgage as we grow to be one of the biggest mega brokers in the country. Okay, so please bring those LOs over. All right, if I live in a W-2 state but licensed only in 1099, yeah, Eric, I think it goes by your where you're sponsored. We were just talking about this, and the answer was it was like where you were sponsored. So I think you might be good to go if you're not going to be sponsored in that particular state where it's a W-2. But as soon as you get one state that's W-2 required, you're W-2 all around. Can't mix them, right? You're W-2 or you're 1099. Can't be both. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, cool. We worked through everything, man. I appreciate you guys. I'm so glad that you came on. Glad that you spent some time. Go on to if you want to talk further, go on to the site, the Join CDM, and just fill out a form, right? There's a form there. There's a 2-minute assessment, but there's also a form that's quicker that kind of says like, I'm interested or whatnot. So just kind of scroll through and click those call to action buttons, and that'll come to me, and I'll send you a Calendly link, and we could do a one-on-one if you want, if you have more questions. Or if you're ready to go, then just go into the BrokerAIQ platform and register as a loan officer, okay? BrokerAIQ, register. That will let us know, and then we'll get you out of contract to review. Hey, appreciate you guys. Looking forward to seeing you on our platform so you can grow, make more money, and be supported how you need to be. All right, have a good one.